Hi everyone, it's the new moon. Sorry about the band-aid on my head. January 18th, new moon in Capricorn. I wanted to make this video outside because I wanted to be in the energy of the new moon. Today's new moon was exact at 12:52 Mountain Time, which is just a few minutes ago. I'm out in a park in Tucson, Arizona, Sabino Canyon, where there's a beautiful mountain views and saguaro forests. I'm actually making this video in the shade of a saguaro. Here's the beautiful saguaro that's giving me its shade. And right now, the moon is just about directly overhead. I want to talk a little bit about astronomy for a minute, where the moon is in relationship to the sun and the earth. The moon and the sun right now are almost directly overhead, and the moon and the sun are traveling together in the sky today, almost exactly. And that is why it's a new moon. That's why the moon looks dark to us, because the moon is in between the sun and the earth, and all of the sun's light is hitting the moon on the side of the moon that is opposite of earth. So when we look up, all we're seeing is the dark side of the moon, with the sun right behind it. We really can never see the moon when it's fully dark, not just because it's dark, but because the sun is behind it, and the sun is so bright that it keeps us from being able to visually see it. I'm sure astronomers with telescopes and stuff can probably suss it out and find it, but with our naked eye we can't really see it. So that means that this morning of the new moon and every new moon, the sun and the moon rose together within about 5 minutes of each other at about 7:35 in the morning, and then they will set together at about 5:45 tonight, and that's local mountain time. And yesterday I was looking up, trying to see the moon in the sky, trying to see if I could just see it as a sliver during the day, but it was just too close to the sun. However, about 3 mornings ago, I was up early, and right after first light, I looked out and I saw the sliver moon, because the moon was rising a little bit before the sun 3 days ago. And that was really beautiful to see. So early risers can see the crescent moon as it rises a few days before the new moon, but after that, we really can't see the moon at all. And probably tomorrow we also won't be able to see the moon very much. It'll still be so close to the sun. But because the moon rises and sets around an hour, between 30 and 60 minutes later every day, so in a few days, we'll start seeing in the western sky at dusk a beautiful crescent moon starting to set. So as the moon and sun get out of alignment now, we'll start to see the reflection of the sun on the moon growing and growing for the next 6 or 7 days until we get the first quarter moon. The new moon is the most yin time of the moon, the most inward, quiet, still energy of the moon. It's a time for reflection. It's a time to go inside. It's a time of increased intuitive capacities. It's a time where the mysteries are closer to the surface. I'm having to adjust my camera so that I stay in the shade of the saguaro as the sun moves across the sky. So the new moon, in relationship to the 4 seasons, is like the season of winter. And the reason why we make the analogy to the season of winter is because winter is known to us. Because we've lived through winter, we know what winter feels like. Now, I'm in the desert. It's going to get up to 77 degrees today. So winter is different here than it is like in Chicago, where I'm from. But the energy of winter is still here, right? It gets cold here at night. We have shorter days. There's a different energy in our lives, in our bodies. So the energy of the new moon is like winter, quiet, deep, a little bit, pulled in, a little bit limited, a little bit pulled in, a little bit reserved. And this new moon, similar to the last new moon that was close to the solstice, is happening in the season of winter in the northern hemisphere. So in the solar cycle, we are in the winter in the northern hemisphere. So we have what I would call like an unopposed yin energy happening. We've got both the moon and the season, the sun season, in this winter, this dark time. So this is double yin, so double listening, double depth, right? Quiet. It's a pause. In the cycle of the breath, the new moon is like the end of the exhale, the bottom of the exhale. After all the air comes out of the lungs, it's like that pause before you begin to inhale again. So the new moon is like a pause to reflect. And as soon as I hear myself say a pause to reflect, I can feel a little bit of anxiety coming up in parts of me because they're saying, well, there's no time to pause and reflect. I've got all these things to do. It's like this extra task I have to do. There is a way to gently allow for a pause, even in the smallest way, that isn't burdensome. Even just right now at this moment, just taking a breath and letting yourself pause at the end of the exhale. And as I do that, I can feel gratitude comes into my system just for a brief moment. Reconnection. It's like reestablishing home base. The new moon is the beginning of the next cycle, but it marks also the completion of the previous cycle. So since December 19th, the last new moon, a lot has happened in the calendar cycle. We had the winter solstice on the 21st, then we had the Christmas holiday, then we had the Gregorian calendar New Year, and now we're 18 days into this Gregorian New Year already. So in that time between these two new moons, and at this time of the new moon, it's an opportunity to reflect on what passed between then and now. How have you changed? If you did write some reflections or intentions at the last new moon, it's a good time to revisit those and just check in and see, where was I then? How was I reflecting? What was on my heart and my mind then? And where am I now? And what has come in between all of those? And this doesn't have to take a long time. I'm usually stunned by how quickly I can forget my intentions. I get still and I write them down, but then when I go away from my journal or my paper, I can completely forget them. So just going back to my journal and reading and reorienting to where I was at that time. And why do we do this? This gives us the opportunity to get to know ourselves, to grow awareness of what our patterns are, of how we grow and learn, of what works for us and what doesn't work for us. I want to invite you not to go back to your intention and use whatever happened in the last moon cycle to criticize yourself for not being somewhere right now that you thought you should be, but rather coming to it with curiosity and love for the process. We have moon after moon after moon, and it's cyclical. And we have the opportunity to reflect every month. And it's natural for us to learn in cycles, to learn in phases, to learn in steps. I think what happens in our high productivity culture is that we judge ourselves for not getting a certain amount of things done. And it can be a chronic judgment because we are never, ever done. We never have our to-do list completely done. So if we're in that state of mind of trying to complete and produce, we're going to come to our reflection from a critical mindset. And our critics are going to have a field day with us. So before reflecting, maybe checking in and noticing from what place in your psyche, in your awareness, are you coming to your reflection? And if there's an energy of criticalness, noticing it, acknowledging it, even thanking that part of you that is so critical, because that part of you that's critical really just wants the best for you. That critical part is just trying to help you get what you need, although in kind of a harsh way. So acknowledging the critic, then inviting in an energy of curiosity, inviting in an energy of cyclical celebration before you come to your reflection time, so that you can read that intention or whatever you had planned for on the December 19th new moon and see it as information, see it as opportunity for deeper self-awareness, deeper self-connection. And this is also a new moon in Capricorn. Capricorn is an earth sign. So the new moon is a time to also plant seeds. To plant seeds internally, like intentions for yourself inside in your heart. And when it's a Capricorn new moon, it's earthy. Capricorn is the disciplined energy that helps you take ideas and intentions from the idea world into the physical world. That's why Capricorn sometimes is said to be a taskmaster, right? Because it's like it wants you to do what needs to be done to get your ideas and your dreams and your intentions into your physical life. So with a new moon in Capricorn, the energy is saying plant seeds and plant them a little bit more in the physical world. Take some small action that would support, that would be like a representation or the first step in the physical world that would bring an idea or a hope into reality. And it could be like very simple. Again, let's take the pressure off of this. Say you want to spend more time with friends. So in this first quarter, you could just text a friend, set a time to meet with a friend. Some outward action that would begin to set in motion the realization of that intention or desire. One thing I'm planning to do today is to start a new YouTube channel so I can separate all of my personal travel videos that I have on YouTube from these types of videos that I'm making. And that sets a foundation, which is great Capricorn energy, setting foundations for building on a desire to be able to share more of myself, share more of these ideas and my passions into the world. So I'll end here with a little landscape view. Happy new moon.